welcome to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coach Show. With me now, head track and field coach Dan Meyers. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Jagger, thanks for having me.
Coming off a big weekend, you sent me the message on Saturday, and it was like a wow, because usually you send me all the PRs, and I don't think I've seen a text that big. Coming off 2 school records, I mean, we're looking at in the teens of school personal best. Just your thoughts on the weekend?
Yeah, it was the best weather that we've had in a while, and I knew this would come together. Just outside of the performance perspective, just really proud of the team. I can't remember a spring that I've had this much fun as a head coach. That's a testament to the kids and just, showing up and doing their job. Early in the season, I preached that every time we show up at a meet, you got to focus on doing your job. And if we all do our job at the end of the day, that we're going to be pleased with the result. We can only show up with what we got. And when we show up with what we got and give our best efforts, we can accomplish big things as a group. We were throwing men's discus in the dark at like 8:30. And the team was still there, supportive, not in bad moods, not, eager to go home. We were just enjoying each other's company and making sure our guys discus that, they sat around all day to get some marks in. And, just for that, you couldn't even see that disc fly. For the most part, it was so dark. And we had 2 guys, Casey Mahoney, came away with like a 4-meter PR, and Charlie Bauman got into the 42. So that was huge. And then, just touching on the school records, Sam Dawson, who when I showed up was one of the 2 cross country girls that I inherited. And she stuck through the last 3 years with me. And for her to have a school record, and, I'm not sure how long that school record is going to live with some of the girls that we are bringing in next year, but she earned her right to have a school record. And, we were only going to run the event once. We had it, just scheduled to do it at Frostburg, and we found out how close she was to the school record, and she's like, I want to give it one more run. And she took off 20 seconds in a week. And that was awesome for her. And, took down another distance record, and Janae getting into the 41s in disc. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the discus event, and she had a big PR in the hammer. We had John Bowen had a big jump in the vault. Across the board, Natalie had some good races as well. She battled some really good Ohio runners and some unattached runners. Probably 2 of the best races I've seen her had. We've been talking that we got to stop worrying about placing and worry about racing. Mm-hmm. And she's done a phenomenal job of that in the last 2 weeks. And, we're really looking forward to this weekend. I'm amped up just thinking about it.
And you talk about, the amount of fun you've had, the happiness you've had this year. Does the success, is that kind of part of that? Is that just the team chemistry? I mean, you've got some really good young athletes now. Does the success come into that? Is it just the team chemistry? What is it with that?
I think a lot of the things that I have my first year that I tried to force a little bit, and, in terms of the team culture and the family and whatnot, we had some ups and downs over the last 2 years. I'm not going to lie about
100%.
it, but I think it's just stuff that's happened organically. Just some names that maybe, Bella Skeens has been a girl for us that all year's been injured. And we would love to have her right now. She'd be a force in 3 different events for us, I'm sure of it, but just a great team girl. Great team girl, hasn't put her head down, hasn't, been, throwing a pity party. Her, a Macy Hilvers, a Janae Scott, that whole friend group that has kind of formed this year. And then along with building a distance culture and those girls there, and then along with the veteran guys we have in that men's throws group, everyone's kind of combined. Our little groups kind of become one big group when we get to these meets, and it's been awesome. Vault and high jump group are super close, and they're always supportive, and it's just a great spot to be in. And our men's hurdle group, we have 3 guys in the top 10 in the 400 hurdles right now in the conference. So they formed their own little bond with some of the hellacious practices I've thrown them in. So, they've been a great group as well. So it's just a unique bunch, and we've just all kind of came together organically, and it's just a great foundation on which to build.
And you spoke about, your excitement coming up this week. You're at Western U. Wesleyan on Friday. That'll give you after you race there, you'll be about 9 days off to hit MECs. Your expectations there, you're going to see some MEC team teams there, but also it's the last time for some of your runners and your throwers to get some times in and some distances. So just your expectations there.
Yeah, well, first and foremost for me, and then also our throws coach, Coach Johnson. We're WWC alums, and it's a big weekend. I was kind of the director of the meet the first year we ever did the Jasmine Claggett Memorial Invite, and over the last 7-8 years, I've always had a big hand in it. Jasmine was a teammate of mine and a coach on the staff when I was a young athlete, and just to honor her memory, continue to do that year in and year out is awesome. I'm excited to see her family, and it's just another unique day. And, it's going to be a big weekend as Coach Skiles gets into the Hall of Fame there as well. So it's going to be a big weekend that, I'm going to see a lot of my former teammates, and those are the things that I tell my athletes all the time is that the excitement I get, make sure they're taking advantage of all these little moments, because sometimes the little things are the big things. And, taking advantage of being able to, spend time with their teammates. Like I tell them all the time, I still get on the bus and look behind to see if I see my college teammates. It's those memories that are going to last forever. And I'm excited to see see my former teammates. And I know Coach Johnson is as well. Honor Coach Skiles, honor Jasmine. And, to get down to the business part of it, we're excited to get some people, hopefully more in that top 16 mix to qualify for conference. So this weekend's going to check a lot of boxes for me personally and for our team. And looks like another warm weather day. And we know that there's some areas that we got to get some more people qualified. And some people were taking a little bit lighter on things we're kind of locked into, but it's always good to head over to Buchanan for this meet, and we'll see D&E, and I think Bethany will be there. So some in-state schools, and we're excited to mix it up with them.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this weekend.
Yep. Thanks, Jagger. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, head acrobatics and tumbling coach Taylor Broadwater. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me again.
Started off last week, Frostburg State in the MEC tournament. You lost 266, 315 to 261 to 060. Frostburg State ended up winning the whole thing. So, not a bad loss. They scored, 270, I think, in the championship?
Something like that, yeah.
So just your thoughts on that, that meet right there.
Definitely a great meet for us. I have nothing to complain about. I am extremely proud of what the girls put on the floor. I feel like it finally came full circle for what we did this season, and that was definitely the right time to peak and the right time to do that. But I loved every bit of that meet. The girls loved it. The energy was phenomenal. What they executed was exactly what I could have asked. Really couldn't have asked much more for my girls at that meet. Definitely a great meet, a great showing of what our team is capable of and the direction that we're headed. And I am extremely proud of everything that they put on that floor.
And a side note, I thought it was really very impressive for Frostburg State to do what they did after losing Neve, who was a all-MEC first teamer.
Right.
Then you moved to Saturday. You won the inversion, the open pyramid, and then the 450 salto toss. 3 event championships. Your thoughts there? That was you qualified for 11, so you won 3 of them. Just your thoughts there.
Definitely another great day to be a Pioneer. Definitely proud of what they executed then, and just finally seeing everything come to, they finally got the reward that they deserved. I feel like it all clicked at the right time. They executed. They really were not nervous on Saturday.
Which is impressive too.
It was nice to see that, because obviously you qualified for this, you earned this spot, and you're up against the best in the conference.
Yeah.
So going out there and them looking at me Saturday morning and saying, Coach, we're ready for this. There was no doubt in my mind we were bringing something home. And it was nice to see that after last year. I felt like the girls did do great at event finals. However, it did not play in our favor, and we walked home empty-handed last year. And that's something I think that has sat on the girls for an entire year now. And that's something going into this weekend, even when we were competing on Friday, that's what the girls said. We're bringing home something this weekend, Coach. We're bringing home something. And I really felt like from Friday on, I felt like it was going to be a great weekend just because of the energy they had. But watching them Saturday, yes, I loved them winning and bringing home something, but there was nothing that I loved more than seeing the reactions on the girls' faces, the energy that they had, and I truly felt like we were the team having the most fun.
Yeah, you could tell watching the video when they went to take their pictures with the championship, they couldn't stand still.
Yeah, they
I was
could
joking
not.
with Hannah about that on Sunday. I thought that was cool for them, obviously to experience. And now you move to nationals. So you qualified the 6-element acro and the 450 salto toss, which we just talked about. You won at MECs. Your expectations there, you got about 12 days off until you compete there. So what's the practice schedule going to look like? And then your expectations once you actually get there to nationals?
Definitely, nationals is just a great experience. I'm glad that the girls could qualify again for that. However, this year we were able to get 2 events in, which is great. We're just going to focus this week on cleaning things up, having fun, honestly, because last week that's kind of the approach that we had for practice was let's have fun. We've worked hard all year. We know we're capable of doing these things. Let's end on a great note. So I'm just going to implement fun this week, cleaning things up, making sure that the girls know, we could very well go and bring home a national championship trophy. So definitely something that we have to put our best foot forward, but getting that experience, getting the exposure, putting Glenville on the map again for nationals is exactly where we wanted to be, and I planned on getting them that experience. So I'm just glad that their hard work paid off this year, and we're ending making a national championship appearance again.
Well, Coach, big congratulations on the championships you won this past weekend, and thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, I have head softball coach Sara Scoone. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Another big week this past weekend. You started out the week at West Liberty. We already mentioned that last week, but you had Fairmont in and Frostburg State. You swept Fairmont, shut them out in both games. Split with Frostburg State, both of them 2-1 games. You were on the right side on one of those. Just your thoughts on this weekend, not only just as a team, but one person I want to talk about as well. Holly Brim was just phenomenal, and the pitching staff in total. But just your thoughts overall on the weekend.
Yeah, our pitching staff has been so strong all year, and they just keep us in games. And I think it's what a role as a pitcher too, because it's like being a goalie in soccer, I would imagine, where you just get either a lot of the credit or a lot of the blame.
Yep.
And I just think that having our pitching staff, and yes, Holly has been on fire, and I am not taking anything away from that when I say this. But our pitching staff as a whole is so strong, and they each have their own skill set and something that they are very specifically talented in, and that's what makes us so great. And one of the things right now we are not scoring the runs that we need to score. So when you do have a pitching staff like that and they're keeping you in ball games, all it takes is 1 to 2 runs to come out on top. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And one thing I want to mention, too, is because Coach Skiles mentioned on the broadcast on Sunday, when Frostburg State scored those 2 runs on the home run, that broke a 34-inning streak of no runs. I think something to be said right there about the pitching staff. And one thing I want to ask you about, too, you went with Caitlin Cassay. Usually, it's a mix of Burdick or Cassay, but you went with Caitlin Cassay to go against Fairmont. Any reasoning behind that to choose Cassay to go against Fairmont?
Oh man, I hope my team watches this because they'll have their own thing to say of what I said before that game. However, I wanted someone to go inside hard, and Kate Cassay is just so resilient and just the mindset of a winner, and I wanted that so bad for the team, and I wanted that so bad for her. You can look her up and see that she transferred from there, and I thought that it would be a good move to get the team fired up to have her on the mound, and she performed.
She delivered.
Holy moly. Yes. She went in great, and I say all the time to the pitchers, you are good enough to win a ball game at 75%. And that is what I want. In that game, Kate brought 100%. And she's battling a back injury right now, and she came out so strong, and I'm so proud of her for that. But honestly too, I'm very proud of defense, because our defense was not at their best this weekend. Anyone watching the game saw that. However, when push came to shove, defense showed out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what was important, and that's where they had the pitchers back, and that's what I'm proud of.
And you won 7 out of your last 9. It's starting to roll at the right time. But now you head into another busy week. You're going to have 6 games this week. Start out tomorrow with Concord, a big game. You guys are tied right now in the NBC standings. Then you're going to have Notre Dame and Salem come in on Saturday and Sunday. Notre Dame's in 3rd, I believe, right now in the Northern Division. And it's just another big week of games. How can you keep it rolling this weekend, or this week in total?
We have to get back to the drawing board at practice on a few things. But one of the things that we need to keep up that we can totally control is our energy and what we bring to the table each game. So, when that ball's out of your hand, you have no control over what it does. You just don't. And that's the beauty of the game and the worst part of the game.
Yep.
But what you can control are your decisions. You can control your attitude, your effort, everything that is under your control is what we are going to prioritize this week, because we play best when we are vocal and when we are moving our feet and when we are communicating between each other on the field, that is when we're at our best.
Yep.
So if we can bring that, I would expect the team to perform well.
Well, Coach, big congrats on another big weekend. You got it rolling. It's good to see, but we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pioneer Coaches Show. With me now, I have head baseball coach Jimmy Mullins. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thank you all.
This past weekend, Coach, you split with West Virginia State, opened up on Saturday with 2 losses, especially that second one was a heartbreaker. Your thoughts on those first 2 games?
Yeah, so important games. All of our games are playoff games, like we talked about before. Going down there to play against them, we were excited to play against them. We didn't, Julian Minaya was our game 1 starter. He's been great all year long for us. He's been our guy, and it's just the nature of baseball. You're not going to be great all the time.
Yep.
He was still effective, but he wasn't in the zone as much as he was, which, allowed some base runners. And West Virginia State can hit the ball at the ball yard, and, they were able to put some runs up on us, and we couldn't come back from that, game 1 deficit there. So good mindset coming into game 2. Diego Tamariz, and, he hasn't been on his best stuff all year long, but he's been battling for us and being effective and eating innings, and that's the best he's been all year.
Mm-hmm.
He really, his stuff was good. We got the lead there, got into the last inning. His pitch count was up. I felt like his stuff was still good enough to get some ground balls. He got weak contact early there from the leadoff guy, base hit. We're looking for a ground ball double play, and his slider is good. I feel like the slider matched up better than some of the guys in our pen in that aspect. We just needed a ground ball. Got the ground ball, ended up booting it, and then walked the next guy, and then grand slam. It's just baseball. But
Yep.
That was definitely a tough loss because at this point in the year we need the wins when they come. And, we had a lead, and anybody with a bat in their hand is dangerous, and those things can happen. That's why it's important. The mentality once you get a lead is you got to keep trying to score. And, at our level and any level, it's just the way baseball goes. And the thing about baseball is you get a lead, you can't just sit on the ball, run the clock out. You can't do that. You have to throw the ball over the plate and give the other guys a chance, and you have to record outs. And credit to West Virginia State for staying in it. They knew their guys. They knew that they were able to come back. They hunted the pitches they needed to, and they came back and won that game. So, come into Sunday, we were really disappointed, and I was curious to see how we would respond. And again, our guys, they care about it.
Yep.
And this group responds. And responding doesn't always mean you're going to win the games, right? It's how you approach the day.
Mm-hmm.
And they know it's not okay, but they also know it's part of baseball and that we have to move forward. And that's what they did. And we were able to get a great start there from Austin Korn. He was dominant. I think we shut him out for 12 straight innings, and that's a dominant offense over there. And Korn got that good start. We got a good lead and exciting baseball all day long. And, we just moved forward and was so happy with that. And then, game 4, Cole Grady got his first win. He's a freshman. He was dominant. His slider was on. His fastball was on. He was in the 90s with his fastball. I think that was his highest velo for the year, and he's just going to keep getting stronger. I mean, he's a good kid and works hard, and I'm excited about him. In Austin, he's got another year, but he graduates this year. He's 4.0 student. He put himself in line to graduate early, so we're going to try to get him into a graduate program and make sure he plays his last year for us. But credit to him. I mean, you're dominant. It's not easy being a student athlete, regardless of the sport. And, for us, think about what sport do you have? We go out for batting practice we're there at 9:30 in the morning, and we don't get out of there until 5:30 in the afternoon. I mean, what other sport do you have where it's a 9-hour day? Mm-hmm. And then you come back the next day, it's a 9-hour day. And then, you got lift and everything else. And just credit to him for being able to play baseball, be at everything, and also be a 4.0 student, graduate early. So, he's a great young man. I'm so proud of him, and what he did there this weekend was awesome.
And because you speak on Korn, he went 6 innings in that 14-0 win in the first game. He struck out 12, had 3 hits. It was a performance that I feel he really needed. And then you move to that second game. You're up, I believe, 9-0 at one point, and you say you can't run the clock out because it's 9-0. They make it 9-5. It gets a little interesting, but then you add some more runs. You get the finish, so you get the split there. But now you move into D&E, and it's no secret, 0-36, the big elephant in the room with them. What do you expect out of your guys this week, and what can you tell them to make sure you're just not going to walk in here and win. It's not how it works. It's baseball. You just can't do that. So what do you expect out of your guys, and what can you get the point across to them this weekend that you're just not going to walk in and win?
Yeah, going back to what you said about the not being satisfied with the leads there, and we have guys playing injured. We're playing good defense, and we were able to just keep tacking on runs. And even when we got guys on base, we were able to make plays. One of the best plays I've ever seen here in this program happened in that last game there. They fouled a ball off down into the corner of the outfield, and their bullpen sits in the corner of the outfield. And our first baseman, Zach Morris, who just had knee surgery and possibly just now tore his meniscus. I mean, he didn't practice all week. Somehow runs from first base into the corner of the outfield, runs up and down their mound, dives the opposite direction, and makes a catch. And there was 2 runners on base, and that's huge because that guy gets on base and a home run. There's 4 runs. And it's just a huge play. And I didn't even know that he ran all that way. I got blocked from players standing in front of me, but I was watching our right fielder run across. And then everybody went, oh, and I thought like their catcher and their bullpen catcher, I thought he dove and caught it. And everybody was just, trying to give him credit for whatever reason. It's hard to tell. But then they said, Zemo caught it. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. And I'm looking at how far he ran. And
that's Zemo in a nutshell right
there. And he takes a lot of chirping, a lot of heat from that other program over the last 4 years. So I know that felt good. But, he ran all the way down there, and it doesn't show up. The video doesn't show up because it doesn't show all the way in that foul territory. It doesn't show up in the box score. Think about that. It shows up as a pop-up to the first baseman, but it was down in the corner of the outfield.
Yeah.
And stranded runners on base right there. It was hot out there. We got guys cramping up. Our catcher, freshman guy, caught all 4 games, and he's been doing a fantastic job for us. And our bullpen arms were able to come in. And, again, just credit to the players for that toughness, being able to come back and respond that way. That really showed the character of the kids right there because there's really nothing I can say to motivate them and get them to feel a certain way. And they were able to come back, and it just shows the character of the type of kids that we have there. And that's going to help us moving forward. And as much as we talk about, we take the other team out of it. It's us versus the baseball.
Yep.
So Davis and Elkins, they may not have a win yet, but they had a 2-run lead on Wheeling in the last inning, and Wheeling can swing it. The game of baseball, you just don't ever know. So we're just trying to take it one pitch at a time, one inning at a time, and play our baseball, take the opponent out of it. And if we are able to do that, then hopefully we'll have a solid weekend.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on today, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you all.